So I'm here today with my good friend, Kenneth Yu. Kenneth and I, when I went to Singapore, flew over to see him in Kuala Lumpur and just had a great time with him and his lovely wife being shown the town one evening and getting to spend time together. So I can't wait to go back and
Yes, please come.
see
Have
him
some
again.
dim sum with me. Have some dim sum with me.
That'll be great. But I'm very glad to have him here right now and be talking to him, because he's got some amazing ideas, I think, about copywriting and about marketing that he's going to share with us. So I wanted to start. Kenneth, do you want to say a little bit about yourself to start, just to give people kind of a context for who you are and what you do?
Yes, that'd be awesome. Thanks first, David, for having me with you on your program. And yeah, so my name is Kenneth, Kenneth Yu from Malaysia. And I've been an online direct response veteran for many, many years. So my background is actually similar to David. I first came from an ad background. I mean, a madman style background. I was in Ogilvy and Mather many years ago, won about 12 advertising awards. And then I became the original copywriter and copy chief for a company you may know called Mindvalley. So I was in Mindvalley for about 2 to 3 years. We doubled the company's growth. A lot of the funnels that you see were actually set up by me and my team. And we were one of the original users of sales funnels, of online sales funnels, pre-click funnels, pre the one funnel away thing that you see today. I also first came out actually the second email copywriting program on the internet and the first Twitter marketing program on the internet. That's about 13, 14 years ago. So ever since then, I went back to corporate, became a corporate digital strategist and agency, had clients like McDonald's, Fujitsu and everything. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I went back into copywriting, to direct response copywriting. That's because we cashed out actually one of our companies. We sold it to our partners. We exited. We did quite well with that. And then, I have clients like Agora. We have clients like Mindvalley. And with the copywriting strategy, the interesting thing is, what I realized is, even though I was a good copywriter in Mindvalley, and I stopped copywriting for a couple of years while being a business owner and while servicing the bigger clients, I realized that when I came back into the copywriting industry, I became much better as a copywriter. And that's when I realized, and that's the basis of what I'm going to discuss with David, which is Holy Grail, where there's been numerous successes over the last few years, ever since employing the Holy Grail copywriting strategy. So I have 2 ClickBank Platinum winners for various clients. ClickBank Platinum just means highly successful ClickBank products. It's not easy to get. I actually had the #1 offer for business opportunity 2 years ago, the #1 offer for spirituality 3 years ago. And I've been helping clients and myself with these sort of offers ever since. And the last 2 years was an interesting time for me because, it was COVID and everything. And during the first lockdown, where all of us experienced, probably April 2020, I think, I got a bit bored, and I launched this online training that was free. It was called No Corona, but what really happened was it caught fire. It launched a movement where we now have about 400-500 people around the world who are buyers of my products. So this movement comprised of buyers of my programs, and we teach them persuasion, strategy, copywriting, course creation, and it's called WYODC. That stands for Write Your Own Damn Check. And it started with the groundswell movement, started with Malaysian Singaporeans. Now we have everyone in the world. We have people from the US, South America, Europe, Australia, you name it, all part of this movement. And the strategies I'm teaching is also catching fire around the world. That's why I'm also talking to Dave. Rich Sheffrin called shock therapy is one of my other Holy Grail strategies, the top 5 business strategies for 2022. And yeah, so my teachings are going around the world, and yeah, so now I'm talking to you, Dave. It's been a journey.
It has. You know, it's funny when you mentioned Kuala Lumpur. When I worked at Ogilvy, I used to do some work for their what they call their house publication, right? The Ogilvy magazine. And I got to realize, and I kept seeing Kuala Lumpur, like an office of, we have an office in Paris, we have an office in London, we have an office in Berlin, and we have an office in Kuala. I'm like, what is Kuala Lumpur, right? Like, where is it? What is it, right? You know, I never could quite understand. I looked it up. It's in Malaysia, which of course I've never been able to keep straight. What's Malaysia? What's Indonesia? How does that all work? What is all that? And, you know, then one day I found myself there with Kenneth. So it's kind of funny that eventually, I've never been to Berlin, right? But I wound up in Kuala Lumpur.
Amazing.
I did, you know, I mean, obviously you've done a lot of incredible stuff in a lot of different areas, but, you know, there's not a lot of copy stuff, especially. I wanted to start with that, where when I hear about it, and when I hear it, I think, well, that's new, that's different. That's a different way of looking at it. So is there any one of the strategies that you could talk a little bit about? I know there's that whole kind of religious journey thing that I can't remember what the name of it is, but I was very impressed by that.
That was the scalable parable. It's a separate
scalable parable. That's it.
Yeah. So that's that may or may not be part of Holy Grail. I mean, we may still incorporate it in, so I'm still considering that. But it's a standalone, just because it's a standalone storytelling product, and we don't want to confuse the audiences. But let me tell you about one thing that struck me recently about the whole Holy Grail thing and the approach of why Holy Grail works for so many different industries. Copywriters that use Holy Grail have been getting insane results on their copy. And I call it the talisman approach to copywriting. So,
I like that.
Talisman, basically your good luck, the good luck charms, And so a talisman is basically an object that gives you a benefit or power if you wear it. So that's what a talisman is. And I realized that humanity is powered by talismans. So they may be external talismans, like you see in the movies, you get the chain, for one person to the other, here's a good luck chain, or here's a good luck bracelet, or it could be in a more like commercial sense, it could be, the Maserati that everybody or the Lamborghini that everybody wants to drive. So it's basically an object that gives you a benefit that might even be tied to your identity and everything. And you see it in movies and you see it in television all the time. So basically, talismans are everywhere. So if you look, in fact, the MCU is just talismans, right? So the MCU, the Infinity Gauntlet, which is what the glove that Thanos wears, was the culmination of 20 movies worth of MCU stories for the chase of the Infinity Stones, which are mini talismans, and the main talisman, which is the Infinity Gauntlet. And
I'm afraid to reveal my ignorance of pop culture, but what is MCU exactly?
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay. I knew it was something in pop culture. Okay.
Yes. Have you watched any of the Marvel movies?
But right, there's like something that gives someone magic power, or even if they think it gives them magic power, whatever it is, there's a tangible object.
Yes, there's a tangible object. And really what Holy Grail is, and Holy Grail is as a talisman, right? So Holy Grail is where true. King Arthur, so it's where King Arthur, for those who don't know the Holy Grail, the Holy Grail is basically the cup that Jesus drank from before he died. And it has been rumored to, in legend, to give the person who has it immortality. And that's why King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table went to the Holy Grail. And they basically went on a quest to find the Holy Grail. And they actually all end up dying. Like basically, King Arthur's kingdom was wiped out because of the quest for that one particular object. And that's why the Holy Grail has that allure and that power to cause such a shift. Right. And really what the Holy Grail is about is using the power of words, copywriting, persuasion to create talismans out of your products and services, to create holy grails out of your product and service, and even you yourself being a talisman or holy grail. That means people need to work with you. They can't work with anyone else because you are the one that will deliver that result to them in a special and unique way.
That's very interesting because you're right. There is a sort of, it's kind of why sometimes people will buy things and never use them, because just by buying them, they feel a certain power, right? I mean, I know I've got hundreds of books that I've never read, but by having bought them and by owning them, I feel a certain, power of that. And I know that I want to work with certain people. Certain people probably want to work with me because there's a certain power that comes from that for, for success. Other people have been successful. Maybe I can make them successful. It's a very interesting way. And you're right. People don't buy products, right? They don't want this newsletter, right? Bill Bonner. They don't buy a newsletter. They're buying it for how it can transform their lives in a sort of magical way.
Yes. Let me tell you another insight that actually shifted a lot of my students' perspective. People don't buy what is good. They buy what makes them feel good. And the reason why they don't buy what is good is because they don't know what is good. They can't tell. Yeah, especially if you're in the info product space. The reason why somebody buys your info product in the first place, because there's a knowledge gap, right? So if I sell a copywriting product, they buy a copywriting product is because they don't know anything about copywriting. That's why they buy a copywriting product, which means that they can't evaluate based on the quality of content. So the only evaluation tool they have is how good you make them feel.
That's a great point. I mean, who's a master of that too is Dan Kennedy.
Oh, yes.
He's really good at making you feel like inspiring you. Yeah. Even though he's got that stern parent, kind of.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Kind of persona. He kind of makes you feel like, I'm an entrepreneur and I should be proud to be an entrepreneur. And it's That's it. So how do you make people feel? How do you make your product be one that people feel good about, that makes people feel good?
Yeah. So one of the keys to a Holy Grail offer is to give people what they want in a way they don't expect. So give people what they want in a way that they don't expect, which means it's a combination of two emotions. I think I'm not sure if it's emotions or concepts or something, which is relevancy plus novelty. So relevancy plus novelty. So is this talisman or Holy Grail first? Is it a benefit that they really want? And then how do I deliver it in a novel and unique way?
And why is that important? Why is the novelty important?
Because human beings are dopamine addicts.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's just that. Here's the thing, right? Like, I think it's just how technology has conditioned us and everything, that we always hunger for something new. So let me just give you an example. So we had a supplement. I wrote a supplement copy for Agora many years ago, and the editor said it was amazing. Like, everyone said this was amazing copy. It will probably do well. I think I showed a copy to you and you said it was actually a very good copy as well. We actually sent it out and it bombed. And I was like, why is it bombing when everyone say it's good, right? And then we actually tracked the video. Actually, it didn't bomb. It did okay, but it didn't beat the control. But it was almost neck to neck with the control. So it didn't bomb, but it didn't beat the control either. So we basically saw the video views, and we realized that the views started dropping when we mentioned the ingredients. So And they were so engrossed with the story. They were so engrossed with the approach, and the people were engaged until they heard the first ingredient. Why? It's because that ingredient has been in the market for the last, at that point, 10, 12 years. So it was an old hat ingredient. Like basically, it's an ingredient that works. So it's relevant to the customer, but it's an ingredient they don't want anything to do with anymore, because even though it works, I want something new. I want my dopamine hit of buying something new.
Yeah.
Or participating in something new.
You know what else too, I think, is as soon as someone thinks I've heard about this before, I don't have to hear anymore, they're gone.
Yeah.
But as long as this is new, I haven't heard about this, maybe it's something I need to know about, it keeps them involved in it.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah,
I've never heard of novelty talked about, like that.
Okay.
In terms of
awesome. I think it's just modern society shift. Like you look at Netflix, the shows are getting weirder and weirder. Like there's no normal shows on Netflix anymore. Like it's just all strange, weird sort of things, which means that's the society we are starting to shift. Because and
it's certainly also more and more true. But I think to some extent it's always been true, right?
Yeah.
It's caveman, it's like, hey, I want to tell you about this thing you already know about. So I don't want to hear about it. I want to tell you about this new place we've got to hunt tigers. It's like, I'm interested now, right?
Yeah. I think because of things like Instagram and TikTok, it's all about the new.
It's all about the new. It's more than ever. It is. It's how we have to filter, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, it's so much.
Yeah, it is. That's why even like with TikTok advertising, from what I heard, your creative lasts 2 weeks, and then they just cut the results. Like basically your results taper off after 2 weeks or 1 week. Like, and by design, the algorithm makes you pump up new content every few weeks.
Right.
Insane, right? So it's just conditioning a new level of wanting the new, wanting novelty. Yeah.
So what do I do, or what did you do? If what I have is in a way not new, how do I find the newness within?
Yeah, so you position it. So again, first you have to give people what they want. So, and what they want is usually an escape from pain or something. Like usually is, I would say escape from moving pain. So there's moan and there's moving pain. Moaning pain basically means it's something that troubles me, but I bitch about it, I complain about it, but I don't do anything about it.
And what do you call that? What kind of pain?
Moaning.
Oh, moaning pain. Okay.
Yeah. So moaning pain.
I thought maybe you meant as opposed to afternoon pain.
Oh no, not morning pain. So it's and moving pain.
Word for that.
Yeah, thanks. So moaning pain is really just, the water cooler chat, right? When you were in the office, let's say you're in Ogilvy and you're like, oh, I want to quit the company. My boss sucks. And you start complaining, but you stay there 5 years, so it doesn't actually translate. And moving pain is pretty much, like, I give the example, it's a slightly gory example, but I think it's the most effective example. So many years ago, before I met my lovely wife, Laura, I tried to pry open frozen burger patties with a meat cleaver.
Oh God. This doesn't sound good.
This doesn't sound good. Needless to say, I had an accident and I was bleeding. So I nearly chopped off my thumb pretty much, and then I was bleeding all over. So literally it's a bleeding thumb. I mean, John Carter talked about the bleeding neck, right? But I literally had a bleeding thumb.
The bleeding neck, exactly.
Yeah, bleeding neck, yeah. If you have a bleeding neck, you want to stop it, right? So there was just, blood all over. I was staying with my siblings at that time. When my sister came, nobody was around. There was just blood on the floor. She thought there was a murder scene in the house. But when you have a bleeding thumb, the point is basically you're not going to stay around watching Netflix. You're going to play video games. You're going to just see the nearest doctor. Right. You're not even going to see your family doctor that stays 1 mile away or 2 miles away. You're going to the doctor that's downstairs. When you have a bleeding thumb, you want to go to the doctor that's downstairs. And so he did stitch up my thumb. It was fine. But that's a sort of thing that people want, a relief from the most urgent sort of pain. And the mistake that a lot of marketers, business people make is to find a pain point, because everyone talks about pain point, right? But to find the pain point that is just moaning pain. So, but not
You don't want only moaning pain.
Yes, you don't want moaning pain. You want moving pain. So one of my other products, which is called Gravitational courses, which is course creation. 2 years ago, I positioned that product almost as a talisman, and it worked beautifully. So what happened was, my product is course creation. Everybody knows course creation, right? A lot of course creation products out there, right? But my positioning for it was basically, look, if you're a trainer, consultant, coach, especially in Asia, we don't do online stuff. We are actually an offline society. We prefer face-to-face. We prefer meetings. I mean, Zoom only became a thing 2 years ago, pretty much, because of the pandemic. Right. And I say, look, if your business is affected by COVID because of the shutdowns, here is an online stream that you need to urgently pursue. Because basically, I have people with 2 years worth of contracts all canceled in one day. And the result of that is I created a blockbuster campaign that I've never seen, like the results I've never seen before in my life. Even though I created a lot of blockbuster campaigns, I was getting $187 per email lead that came in. So wow. That's insane. Which means that for every 100 leads, we were making, 50,000 or something. Like, it was just nuts. I never seen that before in my life. And I'm not sure if I'll see, I probably will see it again at some point with the next urgent sort of thing. Which here tells you that a lot of what people want, a lot of the talismans are about timing as well.
Well, and how did you make it urgent pain? How was it urgent pain? Like, why did it work so well?
It worked so well because in real life, people's livelihoods were disrupted. That means they needed an urgent solution.
By the pandemic. Okay.
By the pandemic. That means that time actually got sliced off pretty much. And they needed but these sort of thumb slice off movements don't happen that often. So that means if you want the extreme spikes, you basically position your product there, or you can position your products on less urgent pain, but they generally will do okay. That means it's sustainable results. But the ones that do like the spikes, which is like, our mutual friend, one of the supplement guys, basically his supplement did so well, mainly because everybody couldn't sleep. It was like a sleep supplement or something. And the urgent pain was, sleep plus weight loss. It's just because everybody couldn't sleep during the pandemic because the body clock changed and everyone had insomnia.
That's a great analysis tool too, is to look at things that work well and say, what was the combination of, of timing, pain, and this product that made it work so well?
Yeah, that's true. That's the relevancy part. So basically, uniqueness plus relevancy. It's the lens I see the world, really. So basically, how is it relevant? How is it unique?
So again, what do you do when you've got a supplement, right? And the client says, or it's your supplement, you're selling it, and it's not, how do you find that urgent pain? How do you, if you're not in the beginning of a pandemic, how do you sell a content course if you're not, at a time when everyone wants to do content courses?
So I would still find the most urgent pain that's available. So, but I know my results will be consistent, but not spectacular.
Right.
So, and which is fine by me, because sometimes you do need your consistent products as well, because if not, then all you have are fads, right? So basically I will look at, in terms of supplements, in terms of urgent pain, supplements by themselves, why they sell so well and why, I ran out of bottles, as I told you, it's because supplement essentially, until the novelty side, sells itself on the relevancy side, because you take it because you are in urgent pain, this supplement. So that's why supplements by itself sells. You don't even need to sell so much on the relevancy side. It's just on the novelty side, how do we position it as something new?
But sometimes supplements are, they're for, let's say they're for high blood pressure, right? And it's not urgent because you can't feel that you have high blood pressure. It's not like arthritis. Or, it could be for, like a probiotic. Right. And there's no urgency because you're not like, oh, I'm, I've got this awful pain and the probiotic going to make it go away. So
Yeah.
what do? Do you look for like,
So what I find, another thing about offers, right, is I call it intersectionality. So basically that means you have two different problems or two different industries at the same time. So a lot of the supplements that have been really successful, so we have research, which is sleep and weight loss. We have another product that's doing like 9 figures now, I think, and that's weight loss plus menopause. So you're hitching two different things on one thing. So basically, when you attach weight loss to it, then it becomes an urgent pain. Like, oh, I have all these weight issues and whatnot, and then you actually tackle the main problem. So basically, you intersect. That means you find an urgent pain, you lay it
on top of each other. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Because that's so true. People love to be able to kill two birds with one stone, right? And all of a sudden now, sleep isn't new, right? Weight loss isn't new, but sleep and weight loss together, that's new.
Yeah, it is. And then his latest product is what? The Java Burn or something, right? So it's coffee plus weight loss.
Right.
Tea plus weight loss.
Yeah.
And it's like selling like crazy. So
yeah. What can you add to it? How can you create something new by adding to it? That's great.
Yeah.
It's and then you're finding novelty as well as, it's a different pain point too. It's a different, now it becomes a little more, it's like, oh, I can fix my sleep and fix my weight loss.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. So what I do, right, is I read a lot of trends publications. So
what
on
kind
trend
of
spotting, spotting trends.
Okay.
Yeah, so trend spotting type of things. I pay money for them as well. So I look for trends and market reports and research reports. So I actually actively pay money for it. The reason for that is oftentimes I will look at the trend and I say, can I attach it to any one of my products and programs? So here was something that there were two, let me give you two examples, which didn't happen. That's why I can show you, but other people have done it and were successful. But like we both came out with the same idea around the same time. I realized, oh, these guys have done it. So which means that it's accurate in sentiment. So one was, I read a trends article, a science article that said that animals have been gaining weight over the last few years. Like hippos and rhinos and cows and cats, like they all, like obesity isn't just a human epidemic, it's an animal epidemic as well. And the reason for that is because of pollutants in the atmosphere. So because of the plastics and whatnot, basically the air, the oxygen levels have been causing weight gain. I was like, that is interesting. So basically, if I create a weight loss product with an antioxidant, again, intersectionality, right? Antioxidant and weight gain, I probably will do quite well. It didn't happen for various reasons. And then I realized that one of the top supplements, I think it was either Meticor or one of them, that was the exact angle. It was it was this idea of antioxidants and weight loss, and it crushed it. Like I think it was an 8-figure success. The other thing that I wanted to try, but because I had no bottles, I couldn't, was so I had an immunity supplement as well. And one of the things that was really interesting was I saw a Time magazine article that said the doomsday variant. That was, I think, before Omicron and after Delta. They said, what if COVID gets worse? And you have this variant that will kill you and spread like crazy, like an actual like insane pandemic, right? I was like, that's an interesting angle. Like basically, I was like, okay, here's my immunity supplement. Here's the doomsday variant. Let's tackle the worst cases of COVID that we can see. Or the other thing was basically all these bacteria are now hyper resistant because of all the what do you call that? The antibiotics, sanitizers, and all those things. Basically, America skipped the flu 2 years ago. Like they skipped the flu for 2 seasons or something. So, and then that again, I can layer with an immunity product that says, hey, you're going to meet all these hyper-resistant bacteria. because of the sanitization, everything. Come take my supplement now. So that's the intersectionality of things.
What's your favorite trend spotting service that you subscribe to?
There's one called Hustle Trends. So that's from the Hustle. So that's Hustle Trends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you part of that? It's quite
No,
interesting.
but I know Hustle.
Oh, you know Hustle? Yeah. So they have a paid service. Yeah. So they have a paid service for that. For the other one, I'll give you some names later on.
Yeah, that's all right. This is great. This is that people can go to if they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is marketing a part of Holy Grail, or is it strictly copywriting?
It's copywriting plus marketing. It's more copywriting focused, but there's a little bit of marketing elements to it. As obviously, we talk a lot about positioning, because I think most people have problem more with the positioning than with the copywriting. Because copywriting is a commodity now, right? You can just Google templates, and there's so many templates out there. You can piece together a sales letter fairly quickly, but not many people know how to position offers, products, because that's really the X factor, right? It's not really the copywriting tactics as much.
It's not the arrangement of the words so much.
Yeah.
It's really it's really what you're saying. It's the strategy behind it. Like you say, the positioning. That's true.
Yeah, because I realize what's happening with a lot of copywriters, because they're raised up on thinking that templates are everything, that they become sociopathic. That means that's devoid of empathy. Like copywriters are actually sociopathic. That means they don't have empathy. They just slap on and they think something magical happened, but it doesn't. Like it's actually about the X factor for humanity that creates the results.
That's the differentiator too for really good copywriters. It's like you could know the templates, but to have the skills of positioning and being able to be strategic. So what's an example of like a strategy? What is it that copywriters don't know about, for example?
Yeah. So for instance, so like the whole idea of offer creation is one. I think the other one is basically in terms of research. How do you do your research? How do you, I think it was Gary Bensivenga that said many years ago during the conference, I said that research is actually a competitive edge. I mean, not in those words, but he actually said that,
advantage.
That research and so I've developed a bunch of research tools for Holy Grail as well. And these are simple tools, but they actually helps you understand your human needs a lot more. So I have something called MHFI. MHFI stands for Miserable Home Fantasy Island. And you remember MHFI?
Great.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. And it's really a very simple exercise, right? You just split a paper into two, you put miserable home, you put fantasy island, and under miserable home, you just put, whatever they're facing in terms of their struggles, in terms of their pain. And then the fantasy island is their escape from that pain. So what does that escape from that pain look like? So on the miserable home side, it could be, I'm humiliated because I feel fat. I feel that, I gained a lot of weight. My husband doesn't love me anymore, doesn't find me attractive anymore. Fantasy island, my husband finds me really attractive. So, and then from the MH side, you then evaluate by saying, is this a moving pain or is this a moaning pain? So you look at it and you say, okay, this might be a moving pain, this might be a moaning pain, because you have multiple pain points to tackle. And in fact, you can just take the whole MHFI sheet and then put it as Facebook ads, which means those that require a lot of angles. Then you just have
divide it up into Facebook ads. But certainly for long copy, in a way, I think people don't realize that all copy is really a journey from that miserable island, that miserable home, to fantasy island, right?
That's true. Yeah,
and that's all we're doing.
But that's a good insight.
Yeah, just taking the person to lifting the curtain and saying, look, this could be your life. This island is available, right?
Yes.
And here's the talisman that will transport you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the ring, like the what Lord of the Rings, right?
Right.
Yeah, the One Ring, right? Like someone did say, Lord of the Rings is somebody delivering jewelry for 9 hours. That's what the summary of Lord of the
It is.
Rings
It's
is.
like a jewelry delivery, right?
Yeah.
Would you please deliver this ring? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What are some other things about marketing that I mean, you mentioned offer creation, and I think some copywriters may say, well, I'm not a client. I don't do offer creation. But some of the most successes that I've had, even as a copywriter, I mean, I've got my own office, but as a copywriter, when I've said to the client, we've got to improve your offer, right? That has led to success. You've got to include some special reports. You've got to offer a premium version. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. And they've listened. It's led to some breakthroughs. So what can you say a little bit about that? What's the secret of offer creation?
I think one of the secrets of offer creation is basically how do you bundle a bunch of benefits together? And I use something called the law of unintended consequences to create my offers. So what I mean by that is basically every solution that you have will always create a new consequence or new problem. So for instance, with COVID, so COVID was a problem, right? So basically the pandemic was an issue. What was the solution to that pandemic was, extreme sanitization and all those things like social distancing, sanitization. The unintended consequences of sanitization is that you create hyper-resistant bacteria, right? Because, flu got skipped for 2 years. So you need to create another product or you need to create another service to handle the hyper-resistant bacteria. And so basically in an offer creation sort of thing, it will be what problem does your offer actually create? Because the solution creates another problem. And then you create bonuses to tackle those issues.
That's great. It makes me think of like, if you have a course on how your business can make more money, it creates a problem of you have to pay more taxes. So you create a bonus on paying less taxes. If you've got something on weight loss, all your clothes don't fit anymore. So here's how to shop for clothes, inexpensively when you're shopping for clothes.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it reinforces it reinforces in a way the benefit of the product.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's a great way to create offers. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
What else is in the Holy Grail program? Because I know it's like so comprehensive. I mean, I don't think I'm even still finished going through everything in it yet. It's just
it's quite intense. It does have the copywriting templates as well, but the copywriting templates I use are a bit different because I don't believe in being normal. So basically everything's novelty plus relevancy, right? So like actually these are the lenses I use to live my life. So it's not even for the sake of the course. So even like the bullet point strategies I have are all about how do you insert novelty into almost each line so that people will keep reading.
Right.
Because
so important.
And because curiosity, I think, is an underrated benefit.
Like, curiosity is so powerful. At Boardroom, we used to say that sometimes people will buy the books because of one single bullet in the promotion that they had to know the answer to. That's how powerful curiosity can be.
Yeah, because I find that benefit-driven copy by itself is a commodity already. That means it actually creates blindness. So if you actually hit someone's pain point with a benefit, I say, I can help you lose weight, I can help you basically promise them, the world and whatnot. People tend to tune out because there's so much of these promises, like a weight loss product, there's millions of weight loss products. If you're business education, there's millions of business education.
Right.
And I find a lot of the recommendations that has been given out, while good, are insufficient because of just how competitive today's industry is. And so that's why I always insert a little bit of curiosity or novelty in everything I do, just because that's the edge to push people forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because if benefits are commodity and it creates banner blindness, then the only way to penetrate banner blindness is with something that is a bit different.
You know, and that's so important these days because,
Yeah.
as I'm sure you know, like on ClickBank, other places,
Yeah.
it's gone crazy with people exaggerating benefits. And
That's
so
true, yeah.
you could have a benefit, your product may work great, but this guy over here is promising that you're going to lose 50 pounds overnight,
Yeah.
right? And you're going to make $1 million overnight. So you've got to have a lot of other things in your copy that are going to be essential.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the best places to see all this in action is unfortunately the Ponzi schemes and in crypto. To see.
You know, yeah. Gary Halbert used to say, study con men. You don't want to be a con man, but you want to see, like, how do they convince people to, how do they sell air, right? How do you sell a mutual fund that doesn't even exist? Right? That's why studying, what do you call it? Fundraising, right? Charity is so interesting because they're just selling feeling good. That's all they're selling. They have no tangible product to actually.
That's true. That's true.
One of the things I know that you're going to do is to have a kind of a free mini course. To, you know, just kind of help people understand how powerful these ideas are of free money trading. Can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah.
So every quarter to every 6 months, I run something called Knights of the Holy Grail. So another novelty.
Knights of the Holy Grail.
So again,
I want a pin. I want a pin for that.
Yes, we should do that actually, right?
Totally.
Knights of the and I deliberately called it Knights of the Holy Grail again because it's novelty, and I didn't even bother with the relevancies. I didn't even put copywriting in and all those things.
Right.
I just call it Knights of the Holy Grail because it drives people forward. I mean, what was interesting, like the last launch I did, right, with Knights of the Holy Grail, or the last 5-day masterclass I conducted, someone came to me and asked, are you guys a satanic cult? Can I join you?
Can I join? I like it. Can I join? Are you a satanic cult? And if you are, can I join?
Yes. I was like, okay, like sometimes like so much novelty until, you know, I attract the weirdness of people, but you know, it's all good. And it's a 5-day masterclass on some of these principles that I talk about.
Right.
It's entirely free, and it's free because I want to empower as much people as possible. But of course, you know, with marketing, there's always an offer in the end to join me further in the journey. And there are very compelling reasons to join me for the journey after that, that you will see in the course. I think learning from me and benefiting from the network that we have and everything, right. There is tangible value in that. But because in a sense, I'm relatively unknown. That's why you come on a 5-day journey with me. You see the principles at play. You see the successes of the people who are even taking the 5-day free program. Mm-hmm. And it's not a very long, big commitment. It's spread across, but it's, you know, like half an hour, 45 minutes per session. And then you go and you do your fun work and you actually see results. And people have seen great results just using the fun work and putting it into the ads and everything. And that's the benefit I want to give to you. And the novelty and relevancy that I want to provide to you. And then you can join me on this journey towards, you know, Holy Grail supremacy after that, if you so wish. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, your way of thinking is so unique. You know, it's funny, you talk about novelty, but in a way, that's what's so attractive about what you teach is that, you know, you can know all the Capel stuff and you can know, you know, Stephen Georgi has some great formulas, templates for writing copy. But boy, you combine that with that unique way that you think, that Kevin you thinks, right? And looks at things in terms of some of the things we've talked about here, the novelty, the pain, the journey from one island to the other. It'll just put you in a whole different league as a writer or even as a marketer to understand these things. So so what I'm essentially teaching, besides the copywriting secrets, is really the mental models that you need to succeed in the world. Because ultimately, I want you to be a Holy Grail person. So not just you having Holy Grail offers. I want people themselves to be Holy Grail. That means they are desirable. They are the talismans that people turn to. because that's where you make the most money, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so
It's
you're not
gotta-
run of the mill. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's not run of the mill. It's novel. You're unique.
yeah,
And but you're right though. It is when I teach copywriting, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm not really teaching copywriting. I'm teaching a different mindset,
yeah,
right? It's not writing
true.
like, oh, what
Yeah.
word should I put down on the page?
Yeah.
I'm going to put this. I'm
Yeah.
following this template. It's
Yeah.
you've got to write from a different place. And
Yeah.
I really feel like you teach people to not just write from a different place, but to think from a different place, to look
Yeah.
at things in a different way, to look at people in a
Yeah.
in a different way. And that's a very rare talent.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So I really recommend that you just take the course. It's free. It's it's 5 days. It's
Yeah.
it's eye-opening, and you can get it. You can sign up for it at holygrailcopywriting.com DD.
Yes,
Right?
that's true.
holygrailcopywriting.com DD.
Yeah,
And
DD.
I'm so excited for people to discover your way of thinking, your way of looking.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm tired of reading boring, unnovel. Really, as someone that reads a lot of copy, I'm so
Yeah.
tired of telling people you've got to add novelty to that. You've got to think in a different way. You've got to,
Yeah.
not just follow templates. So I kind of appreciate what you're bringing to the world.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for having me here. It's just an honor and privilege to chat with you again after so long.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me too, Kenneth.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Thanks
Okay.
for taking the time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.